Amen. Okay, 1 through 10. Okay? When I point to you, I'm going to say a number. Okay? You tell me what commandment that is. 2. 2. 2. 2. 2. Very good. 7. 7. 10. Are you sure? Good, very good. All right, Isaac, all 10 of them. Mm-hmm. Yep. Yep. Okay, do not covet. Very good. Number 9 was don't lie. Okay, Joseph, 10 commandments backwards. Okay, very good. Bernice, the 10 commandments are divided into 2 groups. Tell me those 2 groups. Very good. Very good. I thought that was just so cool when somebody taught me that, or I saw that. It's kind of cool. First 4 are between you and God, and then the last 6 are between you and people. And then you think about the 10 commandments. They want to remove them from society, but like that would solve most problems in society. Those 10 commandments, I mean, corruption in politics would be gone because no one could lie and no one could steal. You would respect other people. You wouldn't be covetous. God would be the center of our country. Blessed is the nation who makes God their. I'm brutalizing that scripture. My version is, blessed is the country that makes God their God. Anyway, the 10 Commandments. You know, what's the big problem? I guess the big problem would be say, well, then you're forcing us to believe in God. That's what makes it all work, doesn't it? So good. So, 10 Commandments. All right, let's keep going. Yeah. Third one, Cassidy. You sure? Very good. You know any of the 10 Commandments? Not one of them? One. Anything. The 5th one. Yeah, so you do know. So you broke the 7th commandment, or the 8th? No, 9th. 9th. All right, let's move on. Let's hurry up and get into our lesson for today. Whose child are you? What are you doing differently from the time that we started bringing this issue to the surface? What are you doing differently? If you want to share maybe things that have happened, we'd love to hear from you. Nancy? Okay. Okay, so the chart kind of stuck in your mind, and when you're talking to somebody, you're kind of grading yourself on what level you are listening to a person. Right. So very conscious. That's great. That's a good thing, right? Mission accomplished so far with that. Also, the habit. There's a habit of when somebody's talking, I'm already thinking about what I want to say next, even if it's to help them, right? But maybe helping them in that moment is just listening. And then it would change what you're going to say to them. So it's definitely a habit. So what other things are you changing, doing different? How are you thinking differently? Is there a circumstance where you would have done this, but you did this? Anything else, Joseph?
Probably just being more conscious of like how I treat people, but at the same time, I'm noticing that I'm very conscious of how other people are, like on the flip side of that scale, like on the talking side.
Okay.
So I'm trying to be more conscious of how I'm listening, but I'm naturally more conscious of how they're talking now. Like, are they in the just blab it and don't want to break,
Yeah.
or are they actually engaging in conversations?
Mm-hmm.
It's like this weird unnatural.
Yeah. Oh, good. I love group settings. I make everybody paranoid, but I'm always watching who is including the other one, who is being sensitive to the other person. That person said something, dumb or off or whatever. How are the other people going to react? How do they? I had a friend. His wife made it was a blonde moment, and I mean a blonde moment. Sorry for all the blondes. It was a blonde moment, and he just so graciously told her, no, dear, I think this is what you meant. Just the way that he handled it was so gracefully and kept the person with dignity, rather than saying, that was just so stupid, But it was just very graceful, and this is a person that I consider has a lot of people skills. And it was interesting that we're now paying attention to how other people are doing that as well. Very good. Anything else? Yes, Allison. Right.
Like looking in the room, this person feels overlooked and made a comment to me that I've gone better at including that person's comment. Like for example, we're talking, this person said something and it was overlooked. I was like, well, hold on, this person said something. So this person felt like she was being hurt in group settings where normally would feel overlooked because I pay more attention to what the other person
Right.
said.
What would solicit her noticing that and bringing that up to you? What would solicit that? Why would she bring that up?
Sometimes in a group setting, there's people that have a chance to talk a little bit more. This person's more a little on the quieter side, and sometimes could feel
But
neglected.
why did she tell you that you improved in this area?
Hoping it's from your Sunday school.
Okay, well, no, fine. We're a family here. This is coming up. There'll be jokes.
I would say it's from your chart. I noticed, like for example, that person. If I'm in a group setting, what level I'm at, or the other day I was talking to my manager and I could tell I was like a level 2 because I have my body language. I was leaning against the door like this, and she made a comment, so I jumped up and I
Yeah.
gave her a little 4 instead of a 2. So
Right.
it's your chart. Just be more conscientious.
Yeah, good. Amongst us and people that know that we're going through this, it's a little obvious. Hey, you're not listening to me, referring to the Sunday school. But what would be interesting is when people notice outside or the influence that we have. Okay, anybody else share anything different that you're doing or thinking, Khalif?
First, before I get to that, I'm going to point out what the issue probably was for the young lady. She didn't get any feedback. Sometimes we say stuff and we don't feel like it was really hurt because there was no feedback to what was actually.
Okay.
That's a very essential part of communication. Feedback and situation.
Okay.
The second part, what I've been doing recently, since the chart, is not really, it's the culmination of what it's caused me to notice about myself is just really being present in a conversation. So
Okay.
I have a tendency to, small talk kind of just kills me slowly. Right? It
Yeah.
really does. And so I've been trying to really just endure that.
Yeah.
Not that I'm above it or anything like that. It's just,
Yeah.
I like to make a connection.
Yeah. Me too.
And just really trying hard to listen. It's been kind of what I've been doing recently.
Which is a little different.
Which is a little bit.
Okay. Right. So guys are classic at especially guys that aren't very close, just very superficial and just talking about stuff that absolutely does not matter. Is there a time and place for that, for relationship building? Of course. Does every conversation need to be a life lesson and super deep? No. But, I look at it as when I'm with my disciples or I'm with the pastors that are out or whatever, I want to take advantage of that time. I mean, weather, stuff in the news, okay, yeah, but, time's short. Let's take advantage of certain times, quality times. But it doesn't have to always be this life lesson. That gets really annoying when everything's a life lesson. Like, my goodness. Relax a little bit. Be real. Be human. Be normal. That would be a suggestion. Yes, Alex.
Notice that lately, when I text people, I skip the whole hi, hey, how are you doing?
Okay.
I just ask them the question.
You've noticed you do that.
Well, I kind of made myself do that now because it's just
Okay.
it's less draggy.
Okay. All right. So we determine that could be culture. It could be the person. Like, I love it when I just ask a question and go straight at it. I want that. I don't want to be, for men especially, just quit being sensitive, dude. Just let's do this, right? Don't interpret your insecurity by my text. Here's the problem with text. There's a big problem with texting, is that it can be interpreted by the person however they want to, based on what they think you feel. So if anybody of you have dealt with me on texting or whatever and want advice, I want to go back and forth, I said, I think it is much better that we speak in person. You can hear my tone, you can see my body language, you can relate so much better. And we're in a generation that is learning how to communicate through texting and not through social interaction. It's a thing. I notice that some people have totally different personalities on text than they do in person. They have a whole personality on text, and because they've isolated, they're not able to engage. It's like they're hiding behind the text. Okay, and that's what's happening there. And we need social interaction. We can never lose that. Alex. Okay, holding back.
Yeah, so like you said, they're still talking, I'm already thinking of what I want to say, and I'm forgetting the rest of what you're saying.
Okay.
I want to forget the one thing I listened to reply off of that, but now it's like, I take my time,
Yeah.
I'm engaged.
Yeah, it's good. Yeah, that's cool. That's really good. Super good. Roman.
So, given the opportunity to go to SOCOM executive leadership course,
Yeah, like we know what that is.
so what that is they basically
Just mess.
meeting with a colonel from the Army as my partner, and having that opportunity to be part of the leadership to kind of learn from them.
Okay.
What they discussed, that the course was designed at that level, and all it was communication, and the levels of communication being level one. These are like the rules. You always engage in person. You want to have the most impact.
Okay.
Individual organization. Second is you do a video conference like ETC.
Right.
Third is a phone call. Extra email is last.
Okay.
And there's also, once you establish a relationship, you have to physically go see somebody.
Right.
Establish that relationship, and then you can go down the other levels because you already have that connection.
Yeah.
If you don't, you try to cold start.
Or circumvent that pecking or order of importance. So social interaction. So obviously, beyond the spiritual, I think that science and psychology is catching up with the Bible finally, right? That social interaction is really important. We just are in an age and a generation that makes it so easy to isolate. I mean, if you didn't have texting or computer, how would you see anybody? You'd have to go out, but now you don't have to. And now there's virtual reality. Now you can have a, what do you call it? Avatar. You can create a persona that doesn't exist. There's also the reason video games are so addicting is because you can assume a character that you're not and become successful, right? And you can't do that in real life, but you can do it simulated. So it's creating antisocial behavior. It's creating lack of communication on a number of levels, okay? This is why coming to church is so important, if you think about it. COVID was a nightmare. People say, well, we can just go to church online. You know, even the first times, that's just, it didn't seem right. But then the habits are, well, you know what? I can just stay in my pajamas and don't have to really see anybody. And it created a lot of depression and a lot of social anxieties, okay, that we're going to deal with for years to come. But luckily, we're 4 or 5 years out, okay? All right, very good. Oh, I forgot to put up my question. We're going to talk about table manners, but really it's etiquette. And I had to find a working definition of etiquette, and I think this is a good starting point. Set of customary rules and behaviors that govern social interactions and help people navigate situations with courtesy, respect, consideration for others. It varies across cultures, settings, and contexts. This is why etiquette and people skills is a soft skill, because it's fluid. It could be professional, situation, formal, or casual. There are a set of etiquette for casual, just having your friends over, formal dinner, business, serves to promote harmony and prevent misunderstandings. Okay, that's the general worldly definition of etiquette. And I had to boil it down just like, what does that really mean? What does that mean? Now we get a little bit more narrow. Code of polite behavior in social situations. It is a code. It is an agreed upon code according to that culture, okay? Let me give you an example, a biblical example of etiquette. Okay? Know when to go home. Know when it's, you know, your neighbor's like, outreach is interesting, going door to door, because they open their door according to how they want to allow you in or not. Yeah, they're holding the door like this. They're at least being nice, but they don't want to hear anything you have to say. They're just a nice human being. Some will open the door and I'm like, my goodness, I can see all the way in their house that it's a mess. That's a whole Sunday school on your house and your car, but we'll talk about that later. But I mean, they're like no shame. They're open. They're ready to go, right? And then when they're done with the conversation, they're pulling away and you're still trying to talk. You know, it's like, get a clue. When somebody just opens quick, I read it very quickly. Hey, just real quick, I know you're busy. Just want to let you know, church, Jesus changed my life. See you. Right? A guy pulled up to me on outreach yesterday and he said, hey. And I said, hey, what's up, man? He goes, yeah, townhouse number, whatever. My wife just finally got the baby to sleep, and I see guys canvassing, and I say, oh man, no worries, man. You gotta get that baby asleep, no problem, man. This is just our church. We'll skip it right over. And I had him hear me yell to the guys, hey, 508, baby sleep, don't knock on that door. Right? I mean, could have said, I don't know. How do I explain it? I don't know. Okay, this is what I want to explain. The guy didn't know how I was going to react. And I could read that right away. Rest assured, get it? We'll leave your baby resting. Type thing. Hey, no, dude, we're going to knock on all these doors. I don't care about your wife and baby. We got a job to do. We got money to make. He had no idea what we're doing. Etiquette. Okay, so the homework was name a time, place, situation when you didn't read the room right. What would you have done differently? Each one of these Sunday school classes interweaves with the other one. Like etiquette is reading the room as well as a whole class on reading the room and understanding where people are and empathy. So all of these kind of intertwine. Okay, but today is going to be very, very specific. Yes, Alex.
There's been times where I would, not necessarily, but quote unquote, enter a room, enter a conversation halfway through, so you don't know the first half,
Okay.
and you're just going off what they're talking about that second.
Without context, right?
And then I say something, and they're all looking at me like, what are you talking about?
Right,
And I'm like, yeah, if I could die right now, I would.
right. Just want to crawl under.
Just restart. But yeah, so the whole, now it's waiting, kind of goes back to what I said earlier. The whole
Right.
putting out everything.
Yeah, no, right. To understand the full situation before you would comment, and it could make you look dumb. It's kind of like there's another etiquette thing that is going to protect you in the Bible, and I didn't put it in there. It says, when you go to someone's house, when you go to a formal dinner, any business setting, sit at the lowest possible seat you can so that you can get promoted, not demoted. If you sit in the wrong seat, in the power seat, then they say, oh, I'm so sorry, you got to go down. You got to sit down there. Or don't sit anyway. Let them tell you where to sit. You're protecting yourself, and you're not assuming, and it makes you look a lot better, okay? Especially in their eyes. Like, who does he think he is? He's assuming that he's going to sit in this good seat, and just don't do it. And so that's just etiquette. That's just teaching etiquette in the Bible. Yes? Okay, yeah, we covered it. What you wanted to say? Good. Yes. Up there? Yes. Roman?
So that also applies to meetings if you're working in a job, meeting with a team.
Yes.
Don't sit at the table. If there's room outside the table, sit out there. Let them tell you, hey, come over here.
Same thing. Exactly, right. Hang back, let them tell you. Ever since I read that as a new convert, that always sticks in my brain. Whenever I go into anybody's house, whenever I go anywhere, any business meeting, or whatever, that definitely helps. Okay, so that's just one example of etiquette. Okay, we're gonna now, instead of only focusing on what etiquette is, what table manners, and what concrete things to do, which we will today, okay? We got to get to the root, and I think I found it. I really do. I really honestly do feel that this is the heart of what we're going to talk about today when it comes to etiquette. Self-aware versus self-conscious. I don't know if you've ever studied this out or thought about the difference. It's huge. It's enormous. So I want to hear from you what you have gathered, the difference between self-aware and self-conscious. And then I'll guide it if I think it's going way off, but I think I got it. I think I got it. Difference between, Sharice, difference between self-aware and self-conscious.
You think you're worried about how you look. You're worried about how you look in someone else's eyes or how you will be perceived.
Okay, stop. That's perfect. That is like somebody with a bow and arrow on the target, and they just let go, and then the arrow just strikes dead in the center of the target. You are concerned about how you are perceived. You are occupied by how they perceive you, okay? And that is an insecurity, okay? My very first church, very first few converts, young lady comes to church with her husband, and she has her hair if she could wear a veil, she would have worn a veil, but she used her hair as the veil. And she would always do this with her hair. Like, I'm exaggerating a little bit, but not too much. And she just, and it was, I mean, you didn't need a psychology degree to figure out this girl is self-conscious, totally. Like, what are people thinking of me? What do they think? You know, am I projecting the right image and things? She was just so insecure. And you just recognize this in people, and they're overly concerned with how they look, and they come into the room. I'm here, you know, and I want to project a certain image, and so that would be self-conscious. You want to add something? Yes. No, you already nailed that one. I want you to stay on a 10. Bernice. Of course. Oh. Yeah. For me, I want their approval. Because I'm self-conscious, and if I can win your approval, that makes me feel better. So it is self-focused. Okay? Right? All right. So you want to take a stab at self-aware.
Self-aware is understanding your own thoughts, feelings, prejudices, things that you know about you before you go into the situation.
Okay. No. But yes. That yes afterwards. After we figure out more of the definition. So we got to come right back to you about what that is. Why we would do that. Because that is part of self-aware. But why? Okay? Dimitri, it's like half like, I'm going to try. I'm scared of saying the wrong answer. Okay. Same as Mike. That's the latter half. Yes, latter half. Joseph.
Because they were both wrong, I'm going to take a stab on the opposite side.
Okay.
It's being aware of how people will perceive you and trying to make them feel better.
Okay, we're getting closer. Self-aware. Okay, go ahead, Khalif.
I'm going to say being able to look at whatever situation you're in and know enough about yourself to how it's going to actually be received, or you may be received. Like, you're aware, like in this situation,
Okay.
I may not be the best person to say X or Y,
Okay.
or maybe in this situation, you know what, I responded to that completely the wrong way, and I recognize that the next time I'm not going to.
Okay, we're right there. Why? Why? No, but why would we need to worry about how we are responding? Why? Yes. That's the summary. Yes. Self-conscious, I am worried how I'm perceived for me. Self-aware, I am worried about my actions, how they're going to make other people feel. One is outward focused, the other was inward focused. I need to be aware of how my brutal speech is this, because this could hurt someone. And I don't want to speak words that are going to hurt someone. I want to make sure that I'm inclusive in people because I am aware of how my behavior could affect other people. How I come across affects other people. And I will be aware of myself to not hurt other people. Okay? So, Khalif, one's outward and one is inward. And that is the biggest difference. Being aware that my behavior affects people for good or for bad. Self-aware, okay? Now, let's look at the results of self-conscious. If you're self-conscious, that means that there is some insecurities, right? There's hesitation. If I'm always concerned about, you ever see somebody that just lacks confidence, they hesitate, and then the worst part of this, you become antisocial. I'm so paranoid of what you think about me that I'm just not going to get in front of you. I'm just not going to talk. Because every time I talk, I say something stupid, and it's all about me, and it's not about the other person, and I'm just going to, I'm going to say anything. Well, that doesn't help anybody, right? So I'm not even going to go out. I'm not going to go to the mall because everybody's going to be looking at me. I'm not going to go shop. I'm not going to go this. I'm not going to try with this person. I'm not going to try that one. And you become completely closed off. That could be the extreme result of being self-conscious. It's all about you. Now, self-aware would be, I better change and I'm going to grow. I better change so I can be effective to help people. What was the scripture last week? Remove the plank from your own eye so that you can see to help other people, right? So it's growth. Self-aware is growth. It's humility. Man, I need to change. I need to get better. It's emotional intelligence. You're thinking, how are my actions going to affect other people? And you will have better relationships. If you're self-aware, you will have better relationships because you care about other people, okay? The last thing, let's talk about empathy is seeing through the eyes of other people, right? Opposite of empathy would be self-centered. So self-aware, when I'm talking to you, right, I am aware of how I'm affecting, I'm trying to see through your eyes. But self-conscious, I'm seeing through my eyes of what you think of me. Fundamental difference. And this should revolutionize our people skills as much as the chart on listening. Okay? Yes?
I was going to mention this last week, but I also think the difference is also as you're aging.
Okay.
You're a teenager, 20s, you're more self-conscious.
Yes.
And as you get older, you become self-aware. And then there's people who just never grow up, too. And they're always self-conscious.
Okay, good.
And so,
Why do you think teenagers are self-conscious more?
just all the situations are
Insecurity, wanting to fit in, not knowing who they are.
because you're still young and they're still, I mean, you get to a certain age sometimes, you're like, I don't really.
Well, good. I don't care what you think. Watch this. Watch this. Let me build off this. Khalif. I want you to like me. I don't need you to like me. Everyone wants to be liked. Why not? I mean, that would be stupid not to. I don't care what anybody thinks. That's a lie. You do care what people think because you want people like you. You want to be accepted. We are social beings. We want to be part of the tribe. We want to be in there, right? I want you to like me, but I don't need you to like me. The need makes me self-conscious. The want makes me self-aware. Why am I repelling Khalif? Every time I come in, it seems like he just goes the other way. Man, am I doing something that is repelling him? I need to figure that out. Because I want him, I want a relationship, I want him to like me, but I don't need it. So maybe teenagers need that approval from the groups in school. I grew up in a cliquey school. It was big. So you had different groups. You had the chess club, and you had the jocks, and you had the cheerleaders, and then you had the nerds, and you had all these different groups. And if you weren't part of a group, you didn't have an identity. Anything else you thought? Okay, that was good. Yes?
I think a lot with maybe self-consciousness, the insecurity aspect. How do you love yourself, right? So
Okay.
First, love God first, right? And second, love others as you
Love yourself. If you have a hard time loving yourself,
love others. No, especially when
awesome.
how do you love yourself,
Okay, good.
right? What is that step? Because you base it off your words, you base it off.
Like, I love myself. You're looking in the mirror.
Because I do this or that.
Right.
So I'm like, okay,
Okay.
I love myself because God loves me. You know, that's
My approval comes from Him. I don't need you to approve me because I know the Father approves me, right? Good. We have a whole class on broken people tend to break other people. If you don't love yourself, you tend to hate other people as well. Right? So we're gonna look at personalities and where that comes from our childhood. Okay, this is not psychology 101 by any means, but how you were raised does affect your view of yourself, your self-esteem, where you get your dignity from. Okay, very good point, Dimitri, very good. There's another hand over here. Yes, Khalif? Yeah. Yeah, maturity. Well, yeah. There you go. Dude, awesome. I'm a victim. Yeah. Yeah. Awesome. Accountability, responsibility, yes. Correct. Yeah, so think about an egotistical pastor. Right? This is our world. This is my world. I want to preach a sermon to gain your approval because I need your approval because of my insecurity. Or do I want to serve you? Do I want you to like this sermon because it's going to help you? Or do I want you to like the sermon because it's going to help me? And I just can't wait for people to come up and say, you're awesome. See, and it's a trap in a lot of levels of life. It's a trap. It's an insecurity trap. Yes?
Like, self-conscious teenagers.
Yes.
Or younger people, is it they grow up to become self-conscious and they stay like that for life, or there is a way to kick them out of that?
It's a great question. So she's asking, is this always going to be, or can this be taken care of and helped? Without a doubt, all the hope in the world, yes, this can change. But you have to start with recognizing what it is, and then we work on how to change it, okay? And I believe that salvation is, true salvation happens when you get your eyes off yourself and you put them on others, on God and other people. What did Dimitri say? Love the Lord your God with all your heart. Love others as you love yourself. This is all outward. I think the whole Bible is all about outward, serving people, loving people. And I think that some of that is taken care of through salvation, and others is taken care of where it's one-on-one. Hey, bro, you didn't see the visitor that came this morning. I mean, that has been my job for 25 years. Did you see the visitor? Jesus walks into the room. A woman's washing his feet. And he turns to Peter. He says, did you see that woman? And we could add, like, I'm adding to the Bible. What woman? Exactly. The one that you thought is just a servant that has no life. I know her life. He was teaching them empathy. So we teach empathy. We point it out. Okay? So yes, there is hope, and that can change. Okay? If we don't deal with narcissism early on, it just becomes a way of life and a way of survival. Okay? I'm working on narcissism right now, a study, what it is, who is it, why is it, where does it come from. It's very, very damaging, narcissism. Okay? James.
One thing I was thinking about, whenever we talk about social things, I always think of the person that says, well, I'm just saying the truth.
Right.
And they're actually hurting the person because they're not self-aware.
I just tell it like it is, right? Mm-hmm.
It's not really self-conscious. They're just saying what they want to say without caring for other people.
Right. That's just stupid.
It was kind of like
Right.
your friend, you described how he was like, well,
Yeah.
I could have done that, but he's focused on what's best for her.
Correct.
And I think that,
So good.
and spiritually speaking, that, we talk about the first and second greatest commandment. The reason is we already are self-love.
Right.
We don't need to focus on
Yeah.
that's like, you don't need to focus on yourself. You need to
Yeah, good.
that's already our nature.
So that would also answer Tita's question, where as we develop and we understand God's love, and that really He's the only one that matters. If I please my Father, I don't need the world to please me, right? And that definitely plays out. Okay, general manners, please and thank you. Please, You don't deserve it. You're not entitled. Thank you. I recognize you did something you didn't have to do. Okay? Personal space is a general manner. Okay? In Brazil, they're a lot closer with even guys, and if they really like you, their arm around your chest. These are guys, and they'll put their hand on your chest. If they put their hand on your chest, they really do like you, as far as a human being. Okay, so it's just in America. My wife loved going to Asia, where they greet in church like this, at a distance, no touching, no kissing, no nothing. She said, that is awesome. We could pioneer here for that reason. Okay, so there's greetings that we deal with, shaking hands firmly. Hudson, Allison and Garrett's son, shakes their hand firmly. He's been taught. It's awesome. You need to teach your kids how to shake. You ever shake and they're like, it's like a limp piece of cabbage in their hand. You're like, hold the door for ladies. Introduce others that are standing with you. Make sure everybody knows everybody in the group. Thank you cards. If somebody does something for you, send a thank you card, thank you note, thank you email, informal thank you text. Okay. I think my wife invited, I think it was Brandy yesterday to the house, blah, 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 blah. She goes, what can I bring? That was the next word out of her mouth. That is etiquette. That is exactly what you need to do. What can I bring? I'd like to bring something. If they say absolutely nothing, flowers, I don't know, but we don't like to go empty-handed. Know when to leave, offer to help clean up. Always offer to help clean up, okay? There are times when people genuinely don't want you to, and then there's times when you're close, you just do it, okay? Table manners, here we go. We got 4 minutes. All right, do not start eating till everyone is served. Place your napkin on your lap immediately when you're seated. Avoid speaking while chewing. Chew quietly. Don't be smacking your lips. Don't reach across the table if something needs to be passed. Hey, could you please pass? In formal dining, you always pass food to the right and serve other people first, not you. Cut the piece that you're about to eat. You don't cut up all of your steak. You cut up one piece at a time, not all of it, okay? You say, excuse me if you need to leave, and you do not say why you're leaving. Excuse me, I got to go use the restroom. I have diarrhea. No phones at the table at all. You're not on your phone. You don't answer your phone. Those people are important to you. They say, if you ever seen a Simon Sinek video, even if your phone's on the table, it sends the message that person isn't totally important. There's a whole psychology behind it. Leave your phones. Have a conversation with people. Remember, Mr. Teacher of People Skills. Remember, I work on these as well. Okay. Sit up straight. Don't slouch. Do not blow on hot food. Ever. Let it cool naturally. Avoid double dipping, please. So gross. Teach your kids quit double dipping. Small bites only. Don't eat fast. Disciple in Brazil. Lower the head and shovel it in. Theoretically, in even a little bit more formal setting, you eat at the pace of the rest of the table. You should finish at the same time everybody finishes. That's self-aware. That's self-aware. We got to get through these real quick. Taste before seasoning. Don't salt right away. That's an insult. No pun intended. Don't slurp. I saw a disciple lift up the soup bowl and eat the soup bowl. Do not do that. Do not lower your head. The food comes up to your mouth, not your mouth down to the food. And you never drink out of the bowl for soup. Don't pick at your teeth at the table. In Brazil, what they do is they hold their hand over their mouth and they use a toothpick and floss at the table. We're not in Brazil. Don't do that. Don't talk about unpleasant topics. My dad was classic at this. There are table conversations. You don't talk about gross things. You don't talk about those type things. Introduce yourself politely to everybody at the table if you don't know everybody, or introduce the person that comes to the table. Stand up when appropriate. Somebody comes to the table, you stand up. More formal, more standing up, but make it a habit. You stand up. Somebody comes to the table, hey, how are you? You stand up. Okay? That's self-aware, isn't it? That's self-aware, right? Serve others before yourself. I teach this in boot camp all the time, but I wait a few weeks. I see which squad leader and which platoon sergeant allows his whole squad to eat first. Anyway, no elbows on the table. What is appropriate is forearms afterwards. That's about the most you can go, but no elbows on the table. Don't use toothpicks to floss the table. That was the other one. Keep conversations inclusive. Remember, we're talking about looking and paying attention to everybody. Use discrete signals for service. Hey! No, it's... Yeah. Don't stack plates and don't help the server unless asked. Don't hand them to them. Don't ever. And in formal setting, a server's not supposed to lift your plate until everybody's done eating. So normally if they see one person done, they pull it up. They're supposed to wait until everybody's done. Do not clean. Do not stack things. Don't do that. Wait for dessert to be served, please. Is there dessert? Don't play with your utensils. Don't tap. Don't play drums with them. Never reach into someone else's plate, ever. Keep bags and belongings off the table. Don't overeat. Do you know how many times my wife said, listen, we're going to their house, eat a cheeseburger at McDonald's before we go. She's so embarrassed because I was like so hungry. I was like, this is so good. Offer to help the host. Always offer to help. Is there something I can do? Can I help? That's awareness. Mind your voice volume. Don't be too loud. Don't take food home unless offered. Follow the host's lead. Let the host determine when you sit down, when you eat, when we're done. It's kind of the host is the one that takes the lead. Okay? Don't use a straw in formal settings, ever. Okay? Don't slurp spaghetti. Bad, bad, bad. Roll it on the spoon. Roll it. Never slurp. Never bite it and it falls down. Don't do that. And you thank the host or the server always, okay? This is a picture. This was 2 weeks ago. My wife doesn't know that I took the picture. She would kill me if she saw this picture. But this was, we're sitting at a formal dinner with my in-laws. They have money. We go out to nice dinners. It's always formal, and you better know how to act so you don't embarrass the other people. Okay, so what this is, and I took this picture, her mom had just corrected Allison about something she did wrong. And she's like, no, you don't butter the whole bread, and you just put a piece there. Allison.
Also, that generation.
No.
I grew up reading Emily Post. That's crazy. Like
Emily Post is classic for etiquette books. We're going to talk about that in a second. Right.
So it's crazy that it's like that generation.
So my wife is 50 years old, and her mom is still correcting her on what you do with the butter. So etiquette shows that you're educated. Etiquette shows that you're trying. Okay. Etiquette shows that you're self-aware. And even to this day, no, Allison, don't put the butter one piece at a time. Did you know you're only supposed to butter one bite at a time? Yeah, I know. Right. Okay. I'm gonna get nailed by the sound guys, but listen to me. All I wanted to do is not necessarily make this list that you can study this list, but bring it to your awareness. There's things that we don't know. There's things that we're gonna have to unlearn. There's things that our parents didn't teach us. You can read books on etiquette. You can watch people that have etiquette. You can ask. I think my wife, her grandmother was kind of like royalty about manners. And she would always ask, hey, Grandma, when this comes and this happens, how do you do this? What are you supposed to do? Etiquette. There is old school, there's new school. Old school, no hats at the table. I still old school. I don't think you should wear a hat at a table. I think you should always take it off, gentlemen. Don't wear a hat. It's kind of rude. But what I'm saying is you're going to have to learn. You got to learn. You got to learn, because this does matter to people. And you never know that you have a new convert that comes, that's been educated. You go out to dinner and I am not going to that archaic, backwards, caveman church, right? Paul said, I learned how to eat dinner with a lawyer, and I learned how to eat dinner with a prostitute. Right? I learned how to eat with the person that has no manners. I learned, so he judged it. He was able to be self-aware. Amen? We'll start church at 10:30. Sorry I didn't get to your questions. We're overtime.